Hi traders, and welcome to the early edition of the Technical Analysis Market Wrap on Thursday the 1st of April. So with Good Friday happening tomorrow, I thought it would be a good idea to get the markets wrapped up and done so we can see if there's any opportunities for the Friday session or the New York session tonight and early into next week. So we jump straight into the Aussie USD. We can see here that the head and shoulders is pretty much trying to break the neckline now. It's not the prettiest head and shoulders you've ever seen, but it's there and it is on a daily chart, so we have to pay attention to it. I think the most important thing is though that we've got a moving average crossover. We've got the 20 and the 50 definitely crossed here, and we've got some very negative candles around the neckline. So what we want to see now is this daily candle close below the neckline that we've got drawn here. If it closes down below there, it really opens itself up to try and get down to that sort of 74 area, which was the previous high that we can see through here. A pretty good target to go for. It's getting a little bit more strength here. It's tried to push down and it's failed to close here on a daily chart. So until it does, we're not going to take too much care of it. What we'll do is we can go to the smaller time frame, see if we can see an opportunity there. Obviously, we can see that the 1 hour here is trying to make lower highs and lower lows. We want to see maybe a test of the 20 moving average. That'd be fine. It's only about a candle or two away from doing that. And the MACD is still looking fairly weak as well. So you can see that the MACD signal line is well and truly into the histogram on the bottom. So definitely one to look out for. The shorts are probably the best way to play this one. If it was going to go long, what it needs to do is close above the neckline, and then we see a change of trend on at least a 1 hour chart and see a series of higher highs and higher lows. Still quite a bit away from doing that, and I can't imagine it's probably going to do that before all of the Easter holidays are over. So I reckon look for the shorts on this one and see if we can get an opportunity for a lightning bolt and potentially trade it down into the 74-cent mark. All right, we'll move on to the US dollar CAD. We'll take it out to a daily chart. US dollar CAD has been one that's certainly pushed into the resistance point that we were talking about last week. It's done that quite nicely for us. I'll put the line there that we were talking about. This is the zone we were talking about last week, around that 125.80 to 126 area. It's done the job for us. All the longs have worked out quite nicely. The 20 is actually proving to be a little bit of a barrier for it. Look, we can see here that it's trying to close above it, but even this candle here, this daily candle, has pushed below it again. Where the 20 has failed, the 50 has certainly pulled it up. Look, technically, we are still in a downtrend. You can see that the lower highs and lower lows are being formed on the daily, but it is trying to surge up, and the MACD is certainly indicating that the short-term movement might be over. We've got a lot of dollar strength. We'll look at the index in a minute, but yeah, we can't really short this one with a lot of confidence, mainly because of the dollar strength coming through. So what we want to see here is a bit of a change of, if we're going to scalp it, we're going to maybe take it short, but I wouldn't be looking for very long positions. It would be an absolute scalp. What I want to see now is a daily close above the 50 moving average. Yeah, so that's effectively above the 126.50. If we get a close above there, we can take this a little bit more seriously. And then we can look at this line being the support zone again. So what we want to see is this line behind us. And once that support line is there, we can start looking to relaunch longs in the direction of what will be a change of trend by that time. So you can see the MACD is very strong in our favor. Really good signs for it. Dollar strength is certainly helping it, but it's had a very, very big resurgence, and a lot of the easy trades that we had on this have already played out because it's hit the absolute resistance zone that we were talking about. So it's do or die time for it now. It needs to either break up above here and give us more long opportunities, or it might keel over and give us some short scalps. So either way, it's going to be a good trade. We just have to wait for the daily close to give us the clues. We'll move on now to the US dollar yen. On a daily chart, this has been a terrific trade. It's blasted straight into the horizontal lines. I've got to draw all my new lines again because of the data change we've had this week. But we were aiming for the 110.50 last week. It's gone a little bit above that. Okay, so our initial target was the 110.50, as you remember. It's blasted past that, so we're pretty happy with the result already. Yeah, could it keep going? Yeah, well, of course it can, because the dollar strength is pretty good. And these previous highs here around the 112, 111.50 are definitely an opportunity for it to go there. But you know, for mine, it's probably going to pull up here. It's going to be a little bit hard to break this without a bit of a pullback. In saying that though, if we get a close well above it, like if the daily actually closes and manages to hold above this level, you could probably look for the smaller lightning bolt effects to trade it into these previous highs. But I think the easier trade probably here would be looking for a short scalp on a smaller time frame. It's going to involve a lightning bolt change of trend, of course. We need to go for a 1 hour for that. You can see it's starting to coil over a little bit, and we've got what is in the makings of a bit of a symmetrical triangle. Actually, you can see, I'll draw that up so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's in play at the moment. Now, yeah, that could break either way. As we know, with symmetrical triangles, they can go either way. So we're going to watch this one with a great deal of interest. If it does break to the upside, 111 or 112, 111.50 to 112, they're the next targets, and it could certainly get there. It hasn't got a lot of resistance in front of it before those targets happen. But indeed, if it does break down to the lower side, the daily pullback around here would be probably the likely target. So around that 109.50, all that resistance through here will be at some level of support level if it does pull back. So what we're looking for there, we've got a trade either way, which is great, which is the way we like it. If it breaks this symmetrical triangle to the way up, we're heading for the 111.50 or the 112. That's our target. And if it breaks on the way down, we'll be looking for the retrace to the support zone at around the 109.50. So some pretty good trading on this one as well, but it has certainly done the job for us. We've been talking about it for a while, and it's played out to perfection for us. So hopefully you've been able to take advantage of some of those longs in this one. All right, we'll move on to the important dollar index now. This one it's taking a little bit of a breather over the last couple of days, but it has been really, really strong. It's done everything that we've wanted it to do. It's given us the most important thing is it's given us some really good shorting opportunities on the euro, which we'll touch on in a minute. MACD doesn't really let us know that this is about to finish up at this point, but what we do know is we've got very strong resistance where we are, right? So when we can see this horizontal line here, we can see the resistance was pretty strong through here. So I would expect that it's probably going to pull up the price points around here. We can see it with support here as well. If it does manage to break to a new high on a daily chart in the next day or two, it could probably be targeting the 94 to 94.50. Like that's the next zone. 94.50 is a very, very strong level. This is the one where it's had a previous touch at this level here, and it's also been resistance at this point here. So it's going to be a very, very strong roll reversal zone if it gets there. And it is the target. All it needs to do now is close a daily above the current level, and off she goes again. My ideal trade here would be actually to see a pullback to around this level here. If it pulled back to around that 92 sort of 30 area, that would be really ideal, because then we've already got the lightning bolt effect, but what we want to see is a market that's giving us a chance to get back in. We don't like jumping in on a moving train, of course. So if it pulls back for us, that gives us some really good longing opportunities. We'll go to the smaller time frames and see if we can get the lightning bolt effect, and then start aiming for that 94.50, which is the logical target now. If the strength continues, MACD certainly indicates that moving averages are separating, so the strength is certainly there. That is going to be our logical target, and that's going to see some really good moves on the euro, which we'll have a look at next. All right, the euro on a daily is doing the exact opposite of the dollar index, of course. You can see that the shorts have been really good. The lightning bolts have been playing the game really, really well. This double, we know we already talked about this double top, but it's certainly continued on. It's gone well and truly past its take profit zone, and really given us more shorting opportunities really now. The next level for this one is this mini double bottom that was there earlier around that 116 sort of 30 area. That's probably the next target. You could see it getting there fairly easily really, but what I would like to see now is, once again, similar to what the dollar index is trying to do, a bit of a pullback to the 20 moving average. That's exactly what we want here, okay? If we get a pullback to the 20 moving average, that would be a fantastic result, because that would be a really, really good shorting zone. If it gets there, what we're going to do is go to the smaller time frames, go to the 1 hour, look for the change of trend, look for this pattern again, look for the lower highs and lower lows, and we want to be shorting it off around this area here. First target will be the current level now. The secondary target will be around that 116.20 to 30 area, which was the previous support at this level. So we'll move on now to the S&P 500. We'll have a quick look at this one. This is pushing to brand new highs. As you can see, it is absolutely trying so hard to make an all-time high. It's just about there. It's not going to surprise us to see this do it tonight before big holiday events. Most of the time the market does like to go up, so it's not going to be any surprise at all to see it print a brand new all-time high. It may well do it tonight or into this evening's trading. We'll keep an eye on it. Look, it's one of those ones where you're reluctant to short it, because if it does hit a new high, sometimes it overshoots it a bit more than you think. So it's pretty dangerous to just aim for the short at the all-time high. You want to be probably letting it settle down. So it's more a watch and see on this one. It's still doing, it's grinding. It's not doing it with a lot of volume. You can see the candles are very, very small, but it is pushing up. They're not the trades you really want to be involved in. They're not quality trades. So what you want to be seeing is just some consolidation at one of these levels, and then a break, either a good solid break above the 4,000, and then wait for a bit of a retest, that would be ideal to keep going longer, or indeed if it breaks shorter below the 20. It seems to be having a lot of trouble below the, or trying to stay below these moving averages. You can see all the way up here. And until it actually shows us what it wants to do, I don't really want to be involved in this trade. So just pretty much a watch and see on this one. Yeah, if you're wanting to short it, you're going to have to wait for a lightning bolt. But just be careful with the long, that it is going into all-time highs. Be very mindful of that. And for people wanting to short it, just remember that when it does reach all-time highs, sometimes it does overshoot a bit more than you think. So your stop loss may have to be a bit bigger than you would normally allow for. A dangerous trade, probably one I just want to watch. Okay, we'll have a look at the two oils today. We've had some requests for oil. We'll first look at spot Brent. Okay, this one here is the daily chart. You can see we're getting quite a bit of consolidation around this zone. It's really coiling itself inside the 50 and the 20 moving averages, wanting to break either way. You can make a case for a bit of a wedge here. There's definitely a bit of consolidation in between these two moving averages, and it's finding itself trapped. What I am noticing though is the MACD is certainly starting to fall away quite sharply on this one. And that means that the 26 and the 12 are coming, basically crossing as we speak, because this is where the MACD is about to go below zero. So it's going to break either way, and I think it's going to be a nice move, and I think it's going to open up an opportunity to go long or short. And I like these trades because it means that you're going to get an opportunity regardless. So if we get a daily close above the 20 moving average, it really opens itself up to make the new highs again. So you can see the most recent highs are around that 70 to 71 level. If we break this little mini wedge on the way up, that's where it's going to more than likely gravitate to without a lot of resistance in front of it. And of course, if it breaks lower, it can get down to around this level here, which is about the 56 to 57. That's the previous resistance that it found, so that's the logical target for it. Both of these are fairly even too, so you're talking about a move of about $7 either side. So I'm not really biased to either way, really. It's wanting to change trend anyway, so either way would be a reasonable attempt at a trade. Just wait for the confirmation, though. Very, very important that you don't guess this one. Wait for the daily close outside that mini zone and then trade in that direction with the lightning bolts on the smaller time frames. We'll check out the spot crude as well. This is painting the exact same picture, just the price points, of course, are a little bit different. But you can see that the price is really hovering in between those 50 and 20 moving averages, really, really consolidating, but very similar story, okay? So pick your poison on this one. It doesn't really matter. Both of them are telling us the exact same thing. If it breaks high above this, you could almost call it a flag or a wedge. It's doing, effectively the same thing on a daily, and it tells us the same information. If we get a daily close above the 20 moving average, it really opens it up to get to that 67.50 level again, or maybe 66.50 if you want to play it safe, take a little bit off it. So a pretty reasonable move on the way up. And of course, if we get a close down below the moving averages and below the wedge, it's going to open itself up to a move down to I'll put the horizontal line here so we can actually mark it up properly around that sort of 54 level. That's a pretty big fall, but it can go either way, both sides, to about the same distance, which is around a $5 move. Certainly plenty of opportunity to actually get involved in that. But you can see here, it was resistance at around that 54 on the way up. It was resistance there, and it was good support way back here in 2019. So it's a very important zone for it. And it's going to either gravitate one of two ways, up to the recent highs or down to this level here. So once it breaks the wedge, we're going to get all the information we need, and then we look for the lightning bolt on the smaller time frames to actually trade into that direction. So I hope everybody has had a great week's trading. Again, we've had some really good opportunities. It's been a fantastic month or two of trading from a technical standpoint. Hope you've had lots of really good trades, and you continue to do so into the Good Friday non-farm payrolls. Remember, it's not only a public holiday, it's also non-farm payroll tomorrow night. So you've got to trade with a lot of caution. And hopefully you have a really, really good weekend and a great Easter. And I look forward to seeing you all next week after we've all had a bit of a freshen up. Thanks, everyone.